give you some beta on the new Hiatus Camper that Ian picked up. It's got a lot of really nice features. This shell is pretty customizable, so we'll kind of just walk you through the very basic modifications that we had Aaron and Tyler do for us. And a big shout out to them for being willing to fit their shell to a Honda Ridgeline. We had not been successful with any of the other cottage camper shells. We knew we wanted something light, and we knew we wanted something that was not a slide in because we didn't want to lose the in-bed trunk, which is a nice feature of this vehicle. You can customize the doors and windows. We opted to have one door that opens up so you can reach in and grab stuff. Also, I figured this would be nice in the summer for ventilation. I'm planning to make some screens to cover it for bug stuff. And then you can also just reach in and grab stuff as needed. But they have lots of other options. You can get a lift door like this. You can have a lift door with windows. You can just have windows. Or if you want to come around on the other side, we don't have anything on this side. It's just completely solid. And you can definitely get mounts for the outside. So you could mount Rotopacks for gas or water, or your Max Tracks. We're not planning to do any hairy off-road stuff, so we'll probably have recovery gear and store it in the trunk, hoping we won't need it routinely. We opted to have the lift gate versus the barn doors. The barn doors are really nice, but we didn't want to lose the backup camera, which is here on our truck. And another nice feature about our tailgate, it can either be a traditional tailgate, which would be a great place to cook outside if it were not 12 degrees overnight. So that's a nice place to kind of do some cooking, but if you want to be easier about getting in and out of the truck, this also swings away. And then you have access to the in-bed trunk from here. So the in-bed trunk will be nice for wet or dirty gear. Right now there's not much in here. That's where our spare is too. So we'll put stuff in here that we use infrequently. We didn't have them install an electrical system, but we have a EcoFlow Delta, which is a 1,000 watt-hour lithium battery slash solar, has a solar controller in it as well. So right now, Aaron and Tyler were great. They put kind of a splitter with a cigarette lighter that runs our lights and max air fan. So lights with a switch and a dimmer. The other thing they did for us is, tonight, we were in a campground with electric, so there's a little port here that you can plug an extension cord into, and then that comes in here, and they have two 110 volt plugs to prong into, and we plugged one into this surge protector, and then we plugged our space heater into that. It was really nice to have this space heater. We ran it all night. The low got to, it was 12 degrees, and we wound up keeping the camper at about somewhere between 60 and 65 all night. Inside the camper for modifications, we did have them put a bunch of hooks in here, which has really been great. It's a nice way to sort of organize. It's nice to have these little baskets. They're fairly transparent. You can kind of see what's in there. It's nice to be able to tuck stuff in here and keep it off the floor. Here's our wall of fame. Ian has been to all these places. This is my first trip. So we got a sticker for the Shenandoah River State Park, which was great, very clean. We put magnets on a couple of things, this is the CO2 CO carbon monoxide detector. These are little adhesive metal plates that then magnet will stick to, because the walls are composite. They're great for insulation, but they're not magnetic. This is the temperature gauge. We have the outside thermometer over by the picnic table and the current temperature inside. And we haven't been running the heater at all, and the door is wide open, so just some sun and the insulation of the shell has kept it pretty decently warm in here. We also had Aaron and Tyler put in this little table, and it seems kind of goofy, but we really like it. It is kind of a tight squeeze in here. Luckily, we're not big people. We're not super tall or super wide, but there's a little table that has a swing out leg, and so you got a place to like sit. So you can sit here, play cards. We played a lot of cards yesterday afternoon after skiing, or like today I got this little Black & Decker step stool at Marshall's for $12.99, and it was great. I sat here and cooked breakfast inside this morning because it was still really cold, and it takes a long time for that butane stove to cook if it's freezing out. And then when you don't want it, again, it's pretty tight in here. We don't really want a bunch of stuff on the floor. If we can avoid it, you can just swing that up and it folds down pretty easily. And then we just have these little cushions to sit on, for each side, and then we kind of use them up top to increase the padding just around our hips, because both of us sleep on our side a lot. Up here right now are the extra cushions. This slides out to about here, and this is the bed. So basically you pull this out, and it makes a pretty decent size, like a double bed.
It's about 50 inches by 74 inches.
Yeah, it's totally doable. Nice windows up in the top here. There can't be any windows in the side sections, because it would affect the folding mechanism. But there's a window with a screen at each end. So obviously we didn't need ventilation last night, but if you were running like a little heater in here and needed to crack windows, it would be easy to do. We also have a max air fan that we ran all night just to kind of keep the condensation down, and it seemed to work really well. Again, we weren't running a propane heater in here, so I wouldn't expect too much condensation, but we really almost had none, and it was pretty significantly cold. There was quite a bit of frost outside this morning when we woke up. And the sun's come out and everything's pretty dry now. He wanted me to make sure we pointed out these little lights. They're little rechargeable, USB rechargeable LED lights that are nice to use. Down in the bottom here, again, just a magnetic strip, and they go onto it. The other nice thing is you could, I think you can put them on the outside of your truck too if you needed some light. But they're nice when the bed's pulled out. So we have one here and one here. When the bed is pulled out, you can't really get much light from the ceiling lights. So this is nice because actually, when the bed is pulled out, or even when the camper is not popped up, you can still sit at this table. So it's nice to have some lights in addition to the ones up